Today I want to talk about compound, compounding and how essential compounding is for us to get to where we need to get to. You know, a simple way of saying compounding, I'm going to call it small numbers add up. You know, 1% every day gonna make the way. See, in life, what we need to do in order to get to where we're trying to go or to achieve what we want to achieve is you need to be able to create a snowball effect. And a snowball starts small, and as it rolls down the hill, it gets bigger and it gets bigger as it gains momentum. Because as it's rolling, it's sticking and attaching itself to more and more snow on the ground, and that causes it to get bigger and bigger. And this is why in life you must create momentum. One of the most important things. And I feel like the real thing that comes to compounding is that it takes a while to see results, and because these improvements are only in small increments, you can't see them, you can't feel them, and because of that, most people just give up. Because I feel like God is the coldest designer, because he has put these like mechanics into reality that just basically keep people in the sections that they should be. So it's like he's made it in such a way where compounding happens in such small increments that it almost poses the question to us of like, or acts as a identifier for who's with it truly and who's not. Because it's like, if you can't push through the work without seeing small increments, without seeing the improvements, then you have to go based on faith. You got to go based on your vision. And when you can't see with your, with your eyes, that disheartens most people and does not allow them to have enough belief to see through the mission. You get what I'm trying to say? And that's what kind of separates the boys from the men, so to say. Because it's like, how long can you go for without seeing any results, but not letting it affect your energy or the amount of effort that you put in? And I feel like it's really delayed gratification that is the answer to a lot of these issues. I feel like one of our issues as human beings is that we want everything now. You know? And delayed gratification is something that directly works against that. And it's, saying no to the short-term benefit in favor of the long-term benefit. It's saying no to those cookies or those sweets right now so that I can have a better physique later down the line. It's saying no to spending unnecessarily on going out to eat, holidays, going to clubs, spending money on bottles so that I can invest the money and in the future it will pay me back and I can now enjoy myself. I'm gonna work really, really hard now instead of being lazy, so that when I'm older and less able, I don't have to work as hard. And it's a very simple concept, but it's difficult for people to live through and carry through. And I feel like most things in life that kind of determine what way you're gonna go are based on that same kind of notion. It's simple to understand, but it's difficult for us to carry it out and see it through. You know what I'm saying? And we start things and we're so spoiled and we're so entitled, and we start looking at things from the angle of like, I need to see results now, I need to see results, and because I don't, I'm gonna throw in the towel and I'm gonna give up. And the reason why I call it this way, right? I kind of live by the mantra 1% every day. And say it takes you to 30% in working out, going to the gym. Imagine it's usually about around 30% where you start seeing results, visible results. So everything up until that point is basically invisible and basically based on faith. Most people will get their 1% every day and get to level 10 and think, I don't see no results, what's the point of this, and just give up. And that type of habit or that type of character will usually translate through all other areas in life, if not all areas of life where it matters, you know? Discipline, a lack of discipline. And what they'll do is they'll get into a loop of starting, not seeing the results in a time as quick as they would like, and then quitting. And then a couple months later, they might have that motivation again. They might watch a video, or they might see whoever online and be like, yeah, I'm gonna go for it now. And then they do it again, and then they go through the exact same cycle. And then they basically go through a cycle, basically even create a whole life of starting things and not finishing them because they don't have the discipline and they don't have the delayed gratification in order to get to compounding. They never reach that point. And eventually what those people usually do is they'll give up and become like a bitter person and start wanting to talk anybody who's got ambition out of it and start coming with the kind of pessimistic worldview of like, oh, what's the point? Life is unfair anyway. Some people are genetically blessed. Some people are lucky. That's where most of those type of excuses come from. Because it's a reflection of their inner self, of them knowing that they can't do it. Do you get what I'm trying to say? So what you need to learn and what you need to be able to cultivate is to start loving the process and stop watching the results. Start doing the thing, whether it be in the gym, putting in the reps, whether it be, you know, working on your craft, working on your creations, whether it be making music. It is universal. It does not matter. Like this is universal law. Start doing your reps, your process, like your life depends on it. Start doing it like you're gonna meet the person with the biggest opportunity of a lifetime tomorrow. But at the same time, stop caring about the results. And this is the duality of life that you need to be able to understand and grasp to really start making this world yours and start really, you know, bending reality to your will. So I work like my life depends on it, but then I don't really care about the result. It's like, oh, whatever. That level of detachment. You need to be able to lock in for a prolonged period of time without looking up to look at the results. Tunnel vision. Do not look left, do not look right. Don't even look up. I think when you're sprinting, when you're doing a sprint, if I'm not mistaken, you get taught to just look down. And it's the exact same way. Do not look up until you've gone over the finish line. And then do the same thing over and over and over again. Forget about outside validation. Forget about social media. Forget about all that stuff, unless it's that you're, you know, just trying to bring attention and awareness to what it is that what you're doing. But never use any of these things for external validation. Like, you need to fall in love with the process and learn to delay your gratification so that you can compound, so that those 1% every day can build up to what they need to be. You see, most people quit after they get to their 10 or 15% because they don't see the desired result. But life is gonna go on anyway. It isn't like you just opt out now and then now you're not part of this life. Time passes anyway. Life goes on anyway. So you might as well just fill the time with doing the productive thing that's gonna take you where you're gonna go to. Because if I start the gym now, and I've done this before in the past, you start the gym, then your mindset, your self-image, your subconscious mind kicks in and then starts to derail you. Then you stop and you just go to doing nothing. Life is still happening. Life is still happening. And you could have been getting those 1% every single day, but you're entitled because you're so drawn to the result. So now you're not doing anything. So not only are you not standing still, but you're not even going backwards. So let's say if you built up to level 5% or level 5, you're now going to go back to 0 and maybe even minus because you have a bad attitude. So you need to understand this. Like, I was in a loop with this type of stuff for too long. And what we do is we're arrogant enough and we're entitled enough to think that we're clever. We're more clever than everybody else. And I have a trick up my sleeve, or I can do my big one. And with that big one, I can quantum leap and jump over levels. So what you'll see people trying to do is they'll come in see what's going on, and then don't want to start at the bottom of the ladder because their ego's too big or they whatever it may be. So what they try and do is they try to miss out levels by different ways, whether they buy themselves in if they've got money, or they try to use their connections. You have a lot of, like, you know, footballers friends, like one of the people that I despise the most. They tend to do this a lot because they've got a network of, you know, people who are already proven to be successful. They think that they can skip these foundational lower levels. You understand what I mean? And then they try to go straight to level 10 or level 15, level 30, and then when they get there, they get found out. Why? Because they haven't built the grit and the character that you get through going through the ranks, going through the levels that's required to not only get to where you want to be, but to sustain it. Whatever comes up too quick must come down. That's why you have people who win the lottery and within a year or 2 years, they're broke because they don't even have the financial maturity, intelligence, and experience in order to deal with that type of money. So what does life do? What does nature do? It balances itself out. And that's what happens in life, gang. You can't run from this. I tried to run from this many times, but you cannot run from this. There's certain laws that are universal, and it's like when you jump off a cliff, gravity will pull you down. There's nothing you can do to avoid that. You understand what I'm saying? And this stuff here works under the exact same premise. So stop trying to cheat the game. Learn the rules of the game so that you can start winning at it. You get what I'm trying to say? Stop being so entitled and stop being in such a rush. Another thing that I see these days is the new generation is so quick. They want everything so fast. And I think this is probably due to the fact that we're now all on social media. We're all on the same social media. So now you basically got 16-year-olds, 18-year-olds, 16-year-olds, 21-year-olds, 30-year-olds, and 45-year-olds kind of in the same place, in the same environment, looking at each other. So you have an 18-year-old looking at a 40-year-old with 25 years of experience under his belt, copping the big Ferrari or Lambo, and in his mind, he now believes that he needs to have the same thing. Or they have a big following and they think they need to have the same thing. But no, being in a rush is not what's going to take you there. It's not what's going to take you there. I remember being young and wanting to have things so quick and it just wasn't that time, and I'm glad that God made me wait, because this experience that I've had is why I can talk the way I do, where I can pass on wisdom the way I do, is because I've really lived this shit. And too many people these days don't want to live this shit. They don't want to earn the stripes. They want to just go straight to the result. People are too obsessed with the result, too obsessed with the validation that comes with that perceived result, and it's wrong. It's gonna crumble. It's not gonna take you anywhere where you want to go. Trust me, gang. I've seen many. I've got friends, old friends. I've got people that, you know, were in the industry with me that, you know, they're no longer around. Why? Because they were the fundamentals weren't there. They were chasing after the wrong thing. That's what it is, man. Like, go and study compounding and understand that this life is a marathon and it's not a sprint. And learn to love the process and go for your 1% every day. Go for the 1%. Stop trying to get 10% in one day because, you know, you're in a rush because you feel like you wasted a lot of time. And you think now being too fast is what's going to catch up with lost time. It doesn't work like that. Take it from me, someone who tried. Take it from a real finesse kid. You know what I'm saying? It's like, you just got to be real, man, and just do what you need to do. And the best thing about it is that you can start today. And if you feel like you've wasted a lot of time, then just start today. Just start today. I promise you. You don't need to get there as fast as you think you do. You don't. You don't, man. It's taken me a long time to realize that. Like, just be patient and build, like, solid foundations. You know what I'm saying? All this, you need this by that age and this and that. It's all just, someone's trying to manipulate you. All that stuff is for somebody's game. Focus on yourself. You know what I'm saying? You got plenty time. You got plenty time. Work like you don't have plenty time, but don't look at the results like you don't have plenty time. You don't have time to not be working.